Spain, 2009. It's so hard to take your parents anywhere. They bring so much stuff. We got off to a good start and had a lovely flight. Graham was happy most of the way. We had a few mishaps, but by and large, by the time we hit the train on the way to Toledo, we were all pretty happy. Came into a gorgeous train station in Toledo. First day, we hit a few museums, saw a gorgeous display of ancient tiles. Got used to the skinny streets in Toledo, got to see the Jewish Quarter and a few lovely Jewish museums, and found plenty of places to hang out with baby Graham. Uncle Josh was at his finest.
Hey, you're on the march.
A few days in, we hit City Hall to see my cousin Julia's civil ceremony. There we are, preparing to be serious, and here comes the mayor. I don't think we were the only ones who didn't understand a thing that was going on. And yet to look like she was trying to figure it out. And even Julia, the bride, maybe didn't get every single word. Luckily, her sister was there to translate from the Spanish Constitution.
Spouses must respect and help each other and act in the interest of the family. This article introduces 3 essential duties. The duty of respect, the duty of assistance.
And not everything needed translation.
Julia, ¿consientes en contraer matrimonio y efectivamente lo contraes?
Sí. We made idiots of ourselves with the artifacts. And there's my Uncle Lee, the father of the bride, my mother's brother. And there are the newlyweds, Julia and Ramon. And here come the cheers in every language. Little family portrait, like you do. And there are my cousins, Julia and Lisa Shipper on the left. And here's Ramon and Julia at our lunch, after which we went to his house for his family's beautiful tapas dinner and a little bit of typical Spanish paella and a little song.
Sometimes you picture me, I'm walking too far ahead.
Followed by merriment, of course, and more cheering. Something in Spanish.
Okay.
And something in Swedish. This is the only picture ever taken of all 5 cousins: Julia, my sister Allison, me, my brother Josh, and Lisa. The next day we were off through the town gates of Toledo to watch the Vuelta a España. First, a little bit of a tour of some military equipment, and then, well, you know, a sporting event isn't a sporting event without some beer.
Hey, babe. What you got there?
So the purpose of our Spain trip was to see Julia get married, but also to celebrate my parents' 60th birthdays. Which we did, in good style. You know, potato chips, fun. Here are Jim and Graham and I in front of the Vuelta a España. We watched a time trial whose finish was situated right around the town gate, so here come the riders. Wait, that's not a rider, that's my brother. Of course, we didn't actually know who any of these guys were, but it was fun just the same. Me and my sis. Plus, the town of Toledo actually put a very convenient escalator up the side of a mountain. Of course, my parents chose to run, while the rest of us, not so much. Jim proved his dream car can be found in any country, while we proved we could get lost in any country. These are the duds Graham wore to Julia and Ramon's wedding. And these are the duds Dad wore. And these are the duds Al wore. Woohoo! Look at those shoes. Here's Uncle Lee. And my brother and Josh with baby Graham. Here we have the whole family together. And of course, crazy Uncle Josh. A nice family girl shot. The requisite picture of me picking something out of my sister's eye. a lovely mama, and an extended family shot. The wedding was held in this beautiful garden. Julia and Ramon walked down the aisle on either side of this beautiful fountain. There they are with Julia's parents, my aunt and uncle Leon and Yetta. Here's me and my cousin Julia. And me and my cousin Lisa. Here's Josh with Uncle Lee. Look at those noses. And my parents in their finest attire. Luckily, Graham was really good during the wedding. I mean, he was fed, he was happy, he was gooing. It was just the, siblings we had to worry about. Then, the reason we flew across the Atlantic. So there's a tradition in Spain where the groom gives the bride 13 coins, one each standing for wealth in each of the 12 months in the year, and the extra one representing charity, I believe. It was sort of a fun tradition. Then they cut the cake with a sword, which the town is famous for.
Don't split the couple.
No, I don't.
Don't.
And we partied and danced, and it was lots of fun, and we were really tired the next day. Actually, we didn't party. Everybody else did. But in any case, we were ready to leave town. So we drove through what apparently was Idaho, except with olive trees. Actually, a lot of olive trees. Passed through Madrid, only made a few wrong turns, stopped for a hot dog like you do, and did all the normal road trip things, including brother and sister snoring in tandem in the back seat. Witnessed a few beautiful rainbows. Spain actually has a ton of windmills. Everywhere we went, there were windmills, chugging along. Got our share of rain, and finally, I ended up in Rioja. Crazy Uncle Josh was given baby duty for a night. Well, from across the table. I told you he was crazy. While the parents ended up on their own romantic dinner to celebrate their 60th birthdays. Here's the hotel we stayed in. It was an old monastery. It was really beautiful. The rooms are all lining the outside with this wonderful sort of atrium in the center. Graham loved it. He could sort of hang out on any stone wall he wanted. The decor was mostly lovely with a few glaring exceptions. The next day we went to Briones, to the Miguel Merino winery, where the winemaker showed us how he judged whether or not the grapes were ready for picking. He would smear them on his hand and look at the residue left by the skins. He told us all about his experimental vineyard and showed us how he was going to pick grapes that day.
The idea is to have a good picture of what the vineyard is really. So the best thing will be to have 5,000 grapes. But then
Random number generated.
So we got to pick some samples with him from this gorgeous vineyard filled with Mezuelo grapes. My dad did a very careful job of picking the right ones. There we go. So the ones on the right
are abajo, low part.
Okay, and the ones on the left?
Yeah, and the upper.
If you look closely, you can see holes in the cliff sides in the town of Mezuelo where they used to age wine. Afterwards, we got to judge the grape's sugar content with Miguel the Younger and use a refractometer to check out their sugar and sort of where they would end up alcohol-wise. And we got to tour the winery. And of course, we got to try a little bit of wine. All of this necessitated nothing less than another nap. This time, Dad won the egg of darkness. Then we hit another winery, which had really beautiful flowers. The wine was actually delicious too, but the tour was a little long. It was really amazing to see how they made all the wine barrels. All the tools they used were really cool, but Graham was not so hot on this one. Graham actually preferred to spend his time hanging out on the wine barrel or being bounced by Lulu over and over and over, around and around in circles, but she seemed pretty happy to do it. Next, Jim and I took the minivan and headed back to Madrid. There are lots of mountains. We passed the bowls. My parents went on to Biarritz with my brother and sister. My favorite meal in Spain happened on the drive back. It was a chickpea and chorizo stew. One major miscalculation on our parts was driving a minivan through Madrid. The streets were cool there with all the tiles hand-painted for each sign. We had a cute little hotel near the Plaza de Santa Ana. And in the morning, our last morning there, we went to a donut shop. And guess who showed up? Basically, though, by then we were pretty tired, so we packed Graham up, let him hang out on the backpack like you do in the airport, and off to Munich in our next adventure.